Phillies taking the first steps up the basement stairs as they get a win tonight under Don Mattingly, their new manager. Ruben Amaro Jr. I'm Michael Barkan. We welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live. And I know we've talked about, we heard it just a moment ago, Ruben, the heaviness of the day. And I'll grant you all of that. It's a shame to see a guy like Topper go on the one hand. On the other hand, what the bottom line is what happened tonight. The bottom line is a 7-0 win.
It was a difficult day. There's no question about it, and I'm sure it's difficult for the players. I mean, you heard what Trey Turner said at the end, taking some responsibility for this, and he had never been, gone through something like this. It was nice to see the players do what we had expected them to do during the course of this season, and I think it really does start with Jesús Luzardo, setting the tone. They got an opportunity to put some zeros on the board early in the game, get the Phillies to get an opportunity to jump ahead for a change, and then they closed it out. But really a great team effort overall. It was nice to see them come together and play this type of baseball game for Don Mattingly right out of the chute. That was exciting for him, and congratulations to Don. And hopefully this is the start of some quality baseball moving forward.
Phillies have now won 2 of 3.
There you go.
Can playoff ticket sales be far behind? I don't think so. Let's take a look at our eye on the mound.
And worked his way out of it. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, the numbers are great. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits. That's it. 2 guys on base. He did not allow a walk. 8 strikeouts. ERA goes down to 5.50. But look at the bottom line, and that's saying something. First Philly starter this season with 7 or more innings pitched. That should not be. And yet it is, and hopefully it's the start of something, a little run from the pitchers.
Yeah, again, I thought that this the starting rotation was going to be a strength for this ball club. It has been for a couple of years. I think the thing that I was most impressed with today, 62 strikes out of, 88 pitches. I think it was 70% strikes. That level of efficiency is what we're looking for from those starting pitchers, and hopefully this is the start of something. Them being able to do this on the regular, because they are very talented in that area. They just have not pitched well. I mean, they were worst in ERA and starting pitchers, worst in ERA coming in, worst in WHIP, and worst in batting average against, which is almost unfathomable for me for a team that was relying on their starting pitching to be really good quality.
We're going to hear from Jesús Luzardo coming up in a little bit. We'll hear from all the players as well, and they hopefully will answer the question, as will Ruben a little bit later on. Did it really make a difference that they lost their erstwhile manager tonight, and does that really jump them into next gear and get them out of the basement at least?
That's a great sign. It has been a struggle with them in those situations as well. But 5 for 10, that's getting it done.
Mm-hmm. And Don Mattingly gets it done in his first outing as Phillies manager. And what I want to hear from him at 65 years of age, and he said in the preseason, you know what? I don't have the stomach for it anymore. I'm not the guy that I was. He's managed several teams, certainly won Manager of the Year in 2020 with the Marlins. But he gets the job, he takes the job, and 1-0 so far. Here's Don Mattingly postgame.
Congratulations on win number 1. Just want to take you to that 6th inning. It felt like a full lineup affair from the top to the bottom of the lineup, all contributing to get those 4 runs. How encouraging was that for you to see?
No, it's what we want. We want to try to keep pressure on their opposing pitcher up and down the lineup. We have that type of lineup that, force you in the zone, force you to make pitches, and just try to keep pressure on that guy.
And while I'm sure this was an emotional day, just how does it feel, first win as your first full game as a manager?
It's been a little bit. It feels great, obviously, for us to win, and not necessarily for me. I don't, this is not about, how I'm going to do or whatever. It's really about our club, and it's a good win for us as a team. Hopefully this is a start of, us playing better baseball. I liked the game tonight. We were clean. We didn't kick the ball around. I felt like we were aggressive, good at bats. I mean, I can probably answer most of your questions. Zeus, aggressive in the zone, getting after it. A lot of good things happened tonight.
Did you say anything to the team after the game?
Congratulations. Not really. No, not really.
What about before the game? Did you get the whole group together and talk to them about what your expectations are or anything like that as a group?
Yeah, we talked, obviously, before the game, I think around 2:30 or so, and really just talked about, a lot of things that we talked about before the game, of just us being ourselves and playing baseball, playing good baseball. That's why the reasons we haven't been playing good are getting wins is because we haven't been playing better than other teams. So no matter who we play. So it's about playing good baseball. It's about doing all the little things. It's about what you saw tonight, getting ahead in counts, being aggressive on the bases, good at bats up and down the lineup. All of those things contribute to wins.
Like Stott tweaked something aside. He stayed in the game. Is he okay?
I think he's okay. Anytime a guy takes a swing and touches his side, it's a red flag to make sure that those guys will stay in the game and take another swing. And if there was anything at all, then I didn't want him blowing it up and where it turned into a long-term thing. So, yeah, he seemed to be okay.
Did Marsh come out okay? He, banged into a couple guys there.
As far as right now, I know they'll look at him, but he finished the game. I didn't hear anything after the game from Paul, so I think we're good. We'll see where it goes.
Don, the team has obviously been dealing with a lot of, it's been tough, a tough stretch. A win like this, for all the reasons like you said, where they played well, pitched well, played good defense, did you notice any kind of a different vibe in the clubhouse of just maybe a big exhale and this is what we can do?
I think the big exhale came the other day after the streak of losing, what do we win, lose 10 or 11 or something like that. There was an exhale after that win. As I think I spoke about it, my mind's been racing, but I think I spoke about it before the game. You feel this coming, right? And been around long enough to feel the game in the last game in Chicago, the fight. The games in Atlanta, we had a chance to win 2 out of 3 there. Even the Sale game, we got down 6-0. Nola stayed in the game. He kept us in it, or not kept us in it, but kept it right there. And our at-bats were competitive. We didn't just give in and start swinging. So this has been coming. Ballmer swung the bat good tonight. You could see signs of it in Chicago, where he squared up a ball there. He squared up a ball in Atlanta. You start to see signs of it, right? And I don't know if I feel like I've been around long enough to see that these things start to, when you have this type of talent, that it's there and it's coming. And you could feel this coming.
A lot of guys in that room, as is often the case when a manager gets fired, kind of express almost a sense of guilt or remorse, feeling responsible for what happened. What do you see your role as of almost weaponizing that feeling and getting the guys going on the right path?
I felt that feeling a number of times in New York. We seem to do that a lot, where you felt like, I think if you're realistic and you look in the mirror, at the end of the day, the coaches and we're all trying to put these guys in good positions. If it's not going good, if you really truly look in the mirror, you haven't performed. And I think whatever this, situation where the manager, this happens, I don't know if you feel guilt, but you haven't performed. Especially, I think if you're a team that knows you can perform. If you're a team that's, not that caliber, right? Then it may be different. But I think if you truly look in the mirror, this club, we know we haven't performed to what we're capable of to this point.
See, here's the thing. You're not getting some guy coming in from Dubuque. This is a guy who's a 1985 MVP. This is a guy who's a 9-time Gold Glover, 6-time All-Star, Manager of the Year. So he has participated in the game in all facets. And so he knows what the heck of where he speaks, doesn't he?
Not just participated in the game, he excelled. The fact that he's not a Hall of Famer is somewhat ridiculous. This man was one of the best players of his time and of his era when he played his several seasons and only seasons with the New York Yankees. But he's been through it all, man. He's been through the pluses and the minuses and the positives and the negatives as a player, as a manager, as a coach. Finally got an opportunity to be in the World Series as one of the bench coaches for the Toronto Blue Jays last year. A man that I have a great deal of respect for, not just what he's done in the game as a player, but what he's done in the game as a manager. Used to actually go and visit him from time to time when he was with the Marlins, and told him how much I respected the way, even though his teams were not great teams, they played the game right. And hopefully he continues to rub off on this ball club, and they continue to play the game right, which they did today.
So here's what I want you to answer, and as mentioned earlier, I hope the players answer this question as well. The psychology of sport and the fact that this was the intended result, not just tonight, hopefully for days and weeks to come, but the intended result of Topper's dismissal was wins. That's what they want. And if you're a human being, if you're a player, you got to be a little on edge, to say the least, that you got your manager fired. So would you say, at least for one night, it worked?
Well, I mean, listen, this organization is sort of, World Series or bust. I mean, and that's how it's been, Michael, for the last, 2 or 3 years, ever since they got to the World Series in 2022. The feeling is that this is a good enough team to get to the World Series. I haven't been able to break that glass and get there and pull the ring in, but the expectations were super high. And when the players don't perform, they have to feel a little bit responsible, and you heard what Trey Turner said. They have to feel a little responsible for the fact that, Topper's no longer with them. And hopefully they looked in the mirror, they thought to themselves, hey, we need to pick it up, because there's a talented team there, and it's much more talented than what their record is showing right now. But it's time for them to perform on the field, and it was nice to see them be able to start that this evening. Hopefully it creates something that can be pretty special as they move into May.
Looking at that is as exciting to me as a home run, seeing them run those bases. Trey Turner, 4 for 5, 2 runs scored and an RBI. Schwarber, nothing doing. He scores a run, though, on 2 walks. And Bryce Harper, 2 for 4. Everybody's getting into it tonight. Adolis Garcia, we showed you his double. Marsh, Stott, we hope, supposedly he's okay. And that's good to know. It looked like it might have been an oblique.
The good thing about this is you look at the top 4 guys in the lineup, they were on base, I believe it was 10 times. It might have been 11. Anytime you have the top 4 guys in your lineup getting on base that much, damage is going to be done. Nice to see these guys not only get the hits that they needed to get in a timely fashion, but the walks, the traffic they created. That always puts a lot of pressure on the opposing pitchers. Nice job of lengthening out those innings and putting the heat on them.
But I want to read a quote that our Spencer McKercher put up on our account on social media.
Cobra?
The Cobra put it exactly right. The Cobra from Don Mattingly, and he says, quote, "I don't know if I'm a whole lot different than Rob, honestly. I trust players. I believe in players. I like players, but I want us to play better baseball. And honestly, over the last 4 games, I'd say I felt like you could feel the tone in the dugout. It was going where it needed to go."
Yeah, it looked like they were starting to play a little bit better brand of baseball overall. And I know that Chris Sale game, when you're facing Chris Sale, you're facing one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he kind of knocked him out. But it seemed like things were starting to roll a little bit more positively. And he said it himself in the post-game interview that, sometimes you can sense this happening. And hopefully this is the start of something that can be very, very positive in this next month. You got to throw out, the last, several games and start from day one, which was today, and then move forward one game at a time. If they can play this brand of baseball more consistently, which is what we expect of them, then they've got a chance to get back in this thing.
Jesús Luzardo in a moment, but a reminder, our Phillies Talk podcast, the latest edition dropping with Spencer McKercher and, of course, the producer of this program, Sean Kane. They'll get you updated on everything that happened with Rob Thomson today, Don Mattingly slipping into the manager's spot, and a 7-0 Phillies win. Check it out where podcasts are served. and that is Phillies Talk. All right, Jesús Luzardo in the clubhouse right now.
It was way better just in terms of command and, commanding the strike zone overall with all my pitches.
You were with Don in Miami. What do you think he can bring to the team?
Donnie's a great manager. Had a great time with him in Miami, and he's been a player for a long time, and he knows the life and the struggles that we go through. So he kind of sees that aspect as well, and a great communicator as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
What was your biggest adjustment start to start? What was your focus between starts?
I would say the last two starts, maybe a little bit of pitch usage, and then today more so filling up the strike zone, getting ahead, being able to climb back into counts with off-speed pitches as well. Like I said, tonight was better than the last start in terms of getting ahead and making sure we stayed ahead.
You were the first starting pitcher to go 7 this season. How much did the rotation talk about that at all, and how aware were you of that?
It was news to us. We found out about 30 minutes ago. So, and we're looking forward to doing it a lot more.
How'd you find out?
When I walked in, Wheeler told me, and then we kind of chuckled about it and said we got to pick it up. Yeah.
I feel like today can be a reset for the team.
Yeah. I don't know if reset, but kind of getting us back on track a little bit.
Does it feel like it's something that can galvanize or has galvanized this team when a firing like that happens and, someone here takes over?
I've never been a part of something like that. It's definitely tough to see, Topper go. I think, speaking for me personally, he was great to me ever since I got over here, and he was nothing but great to the rest of the guys from what I saw. And a lot of guys have great relationships with him here, and it just kind of sucks that we didn't do our job, so he had to take the fall for it. Which it's, at the end of the day, this is a business, but I have a lot of love for Topper, and it's definitely a tough day, but we just had to go out and take care of business.
Yeah. All I know is if you blindfolded somebody and say which one of these games was the one after the manager was dismissed, they'd say this one. There was a no doubt about it win, both sides of the ball, and there was an impetus to do that.
Yeah, they'd have very few games where they were sort of laughers, and they did all the things that were necessary to win a baseball game right. They've really struggled to put all the pieces together, the defense, the timely hitting, the starting pitching, which we've talked about a lot. And they put all three of those things and those elements together in this ball game. Hopefully it catapults them to start doing this a little bit more often.
I'm thinking playoffs. I'm just like, that's what we're here for, man. That's the standard.
That is the standard.
And I know it's the standard of Kyle Schwarber. Here he is, post-game, clubhouse.
What an encouraging sixth inning to see. We talked about just getting contributions from the very top to the very bottom of the lineup. How encouraging was that for this team?
Yeah, it's great. We feel like that. We know what we have, but obviously there's still a lot of work to do. And to be able to have that night tonight where we felt like through top to bottom, we threw up some really good at bats, and it starts off with Jesús, where he's going out there having the game he's having, and for us to go out there and keep having at bat after at bat to where we felt like we were having the constant pressure there. Right, it didn't start off right away, but as we kept working through that game, that we kept the constant pressure going. So that's great signs all the way around, and we got to keep doing that.
What was your reaction when you heard the Topper news, and did that kind of galvanize this team today?
Yeah, unfortunately, we experienced it before. I have back in 22, and some other guys have as well. But obviously he means a lot to us, and what he's done here the last 4+ years, and beyond that, not just managing, but bench coach as well. He's got a lot of people's respect. Obviously we know that it's not a reflection, on him that we didn't play great, and we feel responsible, obviously, and I think that he should be remembered for a lot of great things that went on here, and for taking us to a World Series, bringing us to the playoffs every single year, and being, a really good person, really good manager. So we I feel awful. I wish him the best. We've talked to him already, and but obviously there's a season to go on still, so we have to compartmentalize that, put it, box it up, and remember that there's still baseball to be played, and there's a lot of people in the room that we got to care about, and we got to keep pushing along through the rest of the year.
You think this whole day with the news and then the way the offense swung it tonight and Luzardo pitched, you think it all could be a little bit of a reset for this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for us that we know the writing's kind of on the wall there, right? Like, you get someone lose their job because of it, and obviously people, they feel how they feel, and I can't say that it's a direct result of what we did tonight, but that's a classic game for us, to where I felt like like we said, the at-bats are great. Luzardo goes out there, has a great game, and bullpen shuts it down. So we need to keep having our mindset like that, keep having the energy when we walk in here, and feel like that when we're walking out of these doors that we're going to win a baseball game, and that's what we keep preaching, and that's what we're going to keep doing throughout the course of this year.
Kyle, Don said in there after the game that he felt like there were signs in Chicago and Atlanta that you guys were getting close to being able to do this and getting back on track. Did you feel that too, and is this a sign that is happening?
I did personally. I think you kind of look at the last game there in Chicago, and you look at some of the games that we played there in Atlanta, where I think I said the extra inning loss in Chicago was our last game there. That I'll take that game any day of the week, where you kind of get punched in the face a little bit, but we responded. We were able to get back, tie the game up, and it just doesn't work out in extra innings. We didn't execute there, and we end up with a loss. I think that's a game that we're able to kind of look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, we fought, we did everything. I think just you look in Atlanta where extra inning win. Felt like we fought the first game, and we still put up a pretty good fight, even though you get Chris up against the wall a little bit, and he finds his way out of it and found his groove again. But I just think that the more that we're able to do what we do, keep our energy, and come to work every single day expecting to win the game, that a lot of good things are going to happen, and not having any sort of inkling or thought before, during, or after about are we going to lose, anything like that. It's expecting to win when we go out, and then when we walk back in, the result's the result.
Stargazing presented by Deborah Heart and Lung Center. And of course, we're talking about Trey Turner, 4 for 5. He scores 2 runs. He's got an RBI. He raises his batting average from 230 to 254. He's our Stargazing recipient, presented by Deborah Heart and Lung Center. Ford, road ahead. 2 more with San Francisco. Reminder, tomorrow we're on the Plus channel. On the Plus channel tomorrow, and we open at 6. Mr. Amaro and myself, and then a getaway game on Thursday before heading to Miami for 3. Wraparound over the weekend. A's come in, Rockies come in, and this is an opportunity to make some hay. Christopher Sanchez on the mound, 2-2 with a 2.94. He'll go against Logan Webb. So Ruben, should be an interesting matchup, yes?
Nice little matchup, and Christopher Sanchez, who has not been typical Christopher Sanchez. Maybe he learned a lot, but what he saw out of Luzardo today, and can pound that strike zone and do what he needs to do to keep this team in the game. One of the most important things about this is these guys love to compete against each other, these starting pitchers. So there's a lot of one-upmanship. Hopefully we'll see that out of Sanchi tomorrow.
Let's finish up with a very class act, and that's Rob Thomson. There are many managers who would have gotten their pink slip and put their tail between their legs, and you never would have heard from them again. Not so Rob Thomson, who explained today why he thought it was important to make himself available to the media.
I think if you're an accountable person and you're a leader, you're going to stand up in front of people and answer the questions when it's all over. And I just wanted to make sure I did that in the right way. And it's like the last 4 years, I just hope that people feel like whether I did a good job or a bad job, I represented this organization properly, with class and with dignity. So this is all part of it to me.
Rob Thomson, you did it with class. You gave us a ride, a hell of a ride. World Series appearance, 2 division titles, made the playoffs, and he's got nothing to be ashamed of. Unfortunately, sometimes it starts to fall on deaf ears, Ruben.
One of the best baseball men I've been around, also one of the classiest men I've been around, and he will be missed. I will stay in touch with him because he is he's pretty special, and I've really enjoyed his time here, gotten a chance to get to know him even better. I knew a lot about him before he was here in the Philadelphia Phillies uniform, and I've gotten a chance to get to know him even better. He's a special man and a classy man, and the Phillies were fortunate to have him.
And sure were. We were fortunate to have him as well. He represented not just the Phillies so well, but also the city of Philadelphia. Thanks for watching Postgame Live. Phillies win! They've won 2 or 3. We'll see you tomorrow at 6, everybody. Have a great night.